Hello everyone, Andy Schwab here with your Northern Ag TV. Well, House Ag Republicans unveiled and advanced their Farm Bill plan against Democrats' protests this week as part of a budget reconciliation process that avoids a Senate filibuster. The GOP plan would save $290 billion over 10 years by shifting more SNAP costs to the states and tightening eligibility and work requirements, which U.S. Representative Dusty Johnson of South Dakota defended in a Tuesday evening session.
Let me be clear again, because there has been so much misinformation. If you are a pregnant woman, your benefits are unaffected. If you have young children at home, your benefits are unaffected by this bill. If you are disabled, your benefits are unaffected by this bill. Ladies and gentlemen, we know that we should focus our resources on the neediest Americans. That is what this bill does.
Now on the ag side, the bill hikes reference prices by 10 to 20%, boosts the ARC guarantee, increases Title I payment limits, and allows a one-time update of base acres while also strengthening animal disease prevention. Also from the nation's capital, the House Ways and Means Committee passed a critical tax package that is. In particular, the bill would have several beneficial provisions, including an increase in the exemption amount for the federal estate tax to $15 million per individual, which is going to be adjusted inflation annually, a permanent increase to the Section 199A small business deduction from 20% to 23%, expanding the limitations on the Section 179 expensing from $1 million to $2.5 million, and reinstates the 100% bonus depreciation for 5 years without a phase-out period. The tax passage must be approved by the House of Representatives as that reconciliation process as well. And the Public Lands Council and the National Cattlemen's Beef Association are celebrating the confirmation of Kate MacGregor becoming the Deputy Secretary of the Department of Interior. PLC Executive Director Caitlin Glover said Deputy Secretary MacGregor is a trusted expert in land management issues and there is no one more qualified to take on that role. MacGregor will serve under DOI Secretary Doug Burgum and oversee key agencies like the Bureau of Land Management and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Speaking of leadership changes, UW announced a new interim director of their Ranch Management and Ag Leadership Program. Doug Stark has been appointed to the position that was launched in 2022 and is designed to address contemporary workforce needs articulated by Wyoming agribusinesses. Stark is a graduate of UW and held a 37-year career with Farm Credit Services of America, 12 of which were served as the president and CEO of that financial cooperative. Now Randall Violet will continue to serve as the associate director of the UW Ranch Management and Ag Leadership Program. And all of Montana, Wyoming, and Idaho's congressional delegation in Washington, D.C. is calling for a reversal of a grizzly bear rule. Led by U.S. Senator Steve Daines, the authors are asking the acting director of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to reverse the 11th hour Biden rule, which aims to create a single recovery zone for grizzly bears ranging from Washington state all the way to eastern Montana. The letter noted how the decision is wrought by several inconsistencies, including FWS's plan to use recovery criteria for each separate recovery zone instead of one as a whole, the arbitrary lines that fall well outside the suitable or likely grizzly bear habitat, and the addition of connectivity requirements and mortality limits, which were never previously required. And last but not least, a big happy birthday to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. It was on this day in 1862 that President Abraham Lincoln signed legislation that established the USDA. He called it the People's Department, and it certainly has helped many of the ag industry over these past 163 years. Well, we can take a quick break. We're coming back to look at your ag markets right after this.
From the beginning, we've worked closely with farmers. BNSF's ties to the agricultural community go back 175 years. Together, we've innovated to make the U.S. agriculture supply chain one of the most efficient and productive in the world. Our strong relationship powers BNSF still today and helps us move the nation like no one else can. At BNSF, we move the nation for you.
talking with someone that you know is stressed out. Those are difficult things to approach, but if you're good friends with those people, reach out and say, I'm here to talk to you. We can find somewhere to get some assistance. It's hard to get involved, but at the same time, you want to just say, hey, there is help available.
For more tips in dealing with stress in agriculture or for free counseling for egg producers, visit beyondtheweather.com.
A late day sell-off was witnessed in the cattle futures yesterday. That $4 drop on the board easily could be the factor of an overbought market and traders' worries about being too top heavy. As you may recall, much of the rally this week was based on the announcement of live cattle imports from Mexico being shut down at the U.S.-Mexico border and the higher cash trade from last week. Now that shift lower could benefit the packers when they submit their bids at the feedlots today. And a small but interesting test of bred cows took place at Lewistown Livestock this week. Some of the short-term bred cows found better prices than the young bred cows and bred heifers, as buyers know that there's a pretty good chance on buying those short-terms with a pretty good chance of return on investment, while the cull cow prices are continuing to remain elevated. And the wheat markets finished with a mixed day, with winter wheat stronger and spring wheat down for a 6th consecutive trading session. The winter wheat trading higher could be from a generally oversold market. However, it came on the same day that the winter wheat quality tour in Kansas showed an average of 50 bushels an acre in that winter wheat production, which is 5 bushels an acre better than the 5-year average. Unfortunately, spring wheat's price drop takes them to a new contract low and marks, like I said, a 6th consecutive day of losses. For the row crops, they saw little change following the offsetting USDA reports earlier this week. Well, that's going to do it for our Northern Ag TV. I'm Andy Schwab. Have a great rest of your day.